Hey guys, it's Alex here, back with another video, and today guys, I'm finally back. Welcome to a new edition. This is Storytime, and today I'm going to be talking about the time that I did the Birdbox challenge in negative 35-degree weather going 25 miles per hour. Stay tuned to find out.
Yeah, some days I feel unfazed, like when I'm with my friends with a cup raised, and I go right back at it like an automatic. More drinks, more songs, more...
So really guys, how it all ultimately came to be that all of these circumstances came together was with my school. We have a ski club, and in the ski club we go on a Vermont trip every single year. It doesn't actually have to be in Vermont, but every single year that I've gone, it's been in Vermont. Went on the Vermont trip, and it was roughly a 10-hour drive to get there. We finally get there. First day we just kind of slept, we just kind of went right to bed and stuff. For the second day we went to the mountain. Now this was a 3-day trip as far as like skiing goes. We skied for 3 days, or snowboarded for 3 days, and we had an extra day to get there, and then on the last day we left. So basically the first day we went to Smuggler's Notch. Smuggler's Notch was like this pretty large mountain, but the main talking point about Smuggler's Notch was the fact that it had triple black diamonds. Now, I'm a decent snowboarder, and I did not go down the triple black diamonds because I knew that I was likely gonna die. Because there's literally cliffs in the moguls, and it's fun for expert skiers who have been everywhere and done all these different kinds of things and who love falling off of 10-foot cliffs. And it's not just really anything that I was interested in. But that day was relatively normal. Like it was an okay day for skiing. The snow was alright, better than anything you see here in PA, but still pretty decent and normal as far as things go. However, the second day at Sugarbush, it was beautiful snow. We got about 10 inches of snow the night before, and it laid down about 10 inches of powder, just beautiful, carving through it, the most buttery stuff I've ever shredded before. However, it was cold. The first day it only reached about -3, which, to put that into perspective, it gets a lot colder. The first night it had gotten to -7, but that was not while we were skiing. That was when we went to an outdoor mall, and I made the mistake of not bringing a jacket. So at this point I'm kind of accustomed to the cold weather. However, this time it did reach about -5, -7, so a lot colder on the mountain than the day before. And we noticed that our goggles were kind of fogging up because we were getting hot inside of our masks because we were doing all this work. And when you carve through powder, it generally gets harder to do things. Like, it's more difficult on the legs and on the feet, so you tend to sweat more because you're working harder to get down the mountain. And our first run was moguls the whole way down. So basically we noticed that our goggles were fogging up, so we went into the store and we got this anti-fog stuff. And this is stuff you just kind of rub inside your goggles. It was like a paste. You rubbed it on the inside and on the outside of your goggles, took a little cleaning cloth, wiped it out, and it was supposed to keep your goggles from fogging. However, we should have read the instructions because I'm pretty sure it needed to sit like overnight or something, or at least for like a longer period of time so it could dry. But we went right back out on the mountain after it was there. So we're going, and all of a sudden I started to notice my goggles were fogging up even more, and I'm like, why are they fogging? Turns out it wasn't fog. The anti-fog was actually freezing to the inside and the outside of my mask, so it made it very difficult for me to see. And when we got to the top of the mountain, that's when I started to notice it. So we start heading down the mountain. I get to about the halfway point, and I notice that I can't see anything. So I lift my goggles up. Well, it was snowing. So when you're going 20-25 miles an hour down the mountain and it's snowing and you're not wearing goggles, it's just bombarding you in the eyes with snow. And it was terrible. I had to squint to go down the mountain, and it was pretty bad. But I was able to get down fairly easy, which was a good thing. And then Derek had the same issue. He got down. And then the two other people with us, Caleb and Annika, they got stuck back at the top because they fell into powder that was probably about 3 or 4 feet deep. We didn't really wait for them because we couldn't see, so we're just gunning it down the mountain, trying to get down as fast as we possibly can without hitting anybody. And it was very, very difficult, and basically they got left behind, and they eventually made it down, and it was a whole thing. However, that day also was relatively okay. We took multiple runs that day, not really an issue. However, the third day came. Now, when I tell you that this day was the coldest temperatures I have ever felt in my entire life, I am not lying. It reached -35 degrees.
What?
When we went to Stowe, which was the last day, and I can tell you this much, They literally did not. They literally did not let you go out without this, without the dermatone stuff, or at least our bus of students were not going to be going out unless they had some of that. Now, I didn't use any of it because I had my mask. I had 2 face masks on, a pair of liners that I just bought, mittens, 4 layers of shirts with my jacket, 4 layers of pants, I think. Yeah, and then heavy socks and boots.
I can't put my arms down!
And I was ready to go. Now, negative 35 degree temperatures is something you can't really describe unless you've been in it before. So we get out of the bus. It's probably a decent 200-foot walk to get to the rack, and we just kind of run because the wind is just gusting, just blowing everything around. And when you have the board that has a lot of surface area on it, you're just getting blown all over the place and stuff like that. And it's just negative 35 degree wind chill, just boom, boom, just hitting you over and over and over again. And you're trying your best to just get to the rack, get your board out of the bag, or at least that's what I had to do in my case, throw it on the rack, get inside as fast as possible. In the roughly 30 to 45 seconds that it took me to do all of that, my hands were numb. I had a splint on my finger because my finger's broken. That was frozen. And I get inside and my face is numb and everything is just numb. We get inside, it was awful. The pain starts kicking in the hands once you get inside as it's warming up and stuff like that. And it's just insane. So we go on the mountain. We were a few of the craziest people there because we actually decided to go on the mountain. Most people just decided to stay inside and just chill until we left. So we go on the mountain and we said 1 run. We're gonna do 1 run, maybe 2 if we're okay. Now, temperature-wise, I was pretty good everywhere. I wasn't really cold. I could feel a little gap in my helmet that was pretty cold, but that was about it. There wasn't really anything that was like, I wasn't freezing. I was going up there and I felt okay. But immediately my goggles start to fog up because my nose is tucked into my dual mask setup, and that is tucked under my goggles. So every time I would breathe, it would shoot air up into my goggles. And when it's negative 35 on the outside and like 80-ish, 90-ish degrees on the inside of your goggles, the goggles tend to fog up. Now normally when you're at like Ski Round Top or you're somewhere where there's normal like 20, 30 degree weather, you can like negate that by pulling it out, leaving your nose exposed, or by pulling it out, just letting some cold air in there and then putting it back on your face. However, in negative 35 degree weather, that condensation, when you pull your mask off, it just freezes immediately. That happened to me. I put my goggles back on, I can't see anything. We're already going up the lift. I'm just like, well, this is gonna happen. I'm gonna have to go down blind. Now, Sugar Bush was a little different because I had little spots that I could see out of and I could lift my goggles. Here you cannot lift your goggles.
Do not take your blindfolds off.
Negative 35 degrees when you're blowing, when the wind's blowing into your face, when you're going down the mountain, you're gonna freeze. It's gonna happen. You're gonna get frostbite. Even in 1 run, you're gonna get frostbite. So I had to keep the goggles on and I can't see a thing at all. So there was a little tiny area in the bottom. I just kind of lifted them up a little bit to look through. And I just start gunning it, and I look for Derek's white jacket as he's going down the mountain, and I'm just following that my best I can. It's a good thing I know how to snowboard, or else I would not have made it down that mountain very easily. So I'm just going down, following Derek the whole way. And I noticed that there's a little crack in the side of my goggles. Now, it's not like an actual crack, but it's a little area where light was coming through, and I could see that, and I could feel a little bit of wind coming through occasionally. Well, it turns out that wind was so cold that it made my eyes started to water. My eyes watered, I blinked, and I found out my eyelashes were frozen under my mask. As I'm going down the mountain, my eyelashes froze. So I'm freaking out, I'm trying to get down as fast as possible. I eventually just say, you know what, screw it, I'm putting the goggles on and I'm going. So I just put the goggles on and I gun it down the mountain following Derek the whole way down. We finally get to the bottom, I'm like, I am never doing that again. Yeah, I just did the Birdbox challenge. And then I'm like, you know what? Like, I literally just went down a mountain blind, a mountain that I've never been on before, following trails that we hoped would get us back to the lodge, and it did. That was probably one of the luckiest scenarios I could have ever gotten in, is for having to have frozen goggles, because it was insane. It was intense. I was freaking out, but I made it down to the bottom safely, and that was how I did the Birdbox challenge in negative 35-degree weather, going roughly 20 to 25 miles per hour on a snowboard. As always, guys, if you haven't already done so, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe on this video, and hit the notification bell if you want to, but you do not have to. Thank you guys for all the support that you've given me. Remember, guys, I love you guys. You guys are great. You guys keep constantly throwing support at me. But yeah, if you liked this video and you liked the story time and you liked me telling the story, I know I kind of get to rambling, so maybe it's not the best thing for me, but if you guys liked this, let me know in the comments down below what you want to see next. But as always, guys, have a wonderful day, and God bless. Peace.